Hello, everybody, and welcome to HTF Bets, our live Thursday show here on the Hitting the Field Network. My name is Riley Shepard, and on today's episode, my guest and I look into some way too early college football championship odds, preview the 2023 NBA Draft, and as always, finish things off with our surefire picks of the week. So HTF Bets starts right now. Campbell to my right, and joining us this week for some college football talk is the nighttime host himself, Camden Mowery. How are you doing today?
Whew, it has been a long day, but I am excited to get out here and absolutely destroy some of you at college football because this is my area right here. I cannot wait.
Now, I did say a little bit of a lie in our intro. I said it was way too early, but as we all know, there's no such thing as talking about college football too early. Now, Camden, we were looking at some playoff odds, some championship natty odds. What are some of your initial takeaways from college football playoff odds?
I think it's exactly what you'd expect when you look at the odds, right? You got the top three rounding it out with Georgia, Bama, Ohio State. I don't think anybody could argue that it should be any other way around. And then right after that was Michigan, USC, whoever it was. I mean, Georgia expected, they deserved to be there. They've been the best team in college football throughout the last 2 years, no questions asked. And that's the team to beat. That is the team to beat going forward in college football.
Now, Kelly, we look at these odds. Georgia's opening at plus 240, clear favorite, followed by Alabama at plus 500. Then Camden's Ohio State Buckeyes at plus 750. Do you agree that Georgia should be the clear favorite?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, we looked at them last year. We saw them in the national championship game. They dominated. Georgia recently has just been, the talent gap has been kind of significant between Georgia and basically the person in second place. Ohio State did come close and almost knocked them off in the playoff games, which I give them props, which is why I think they're okay sitting at number 3 with the betting odds. But I think this year they lost a lot of talent to the portal. They lost a couple guys to the draft. So, but we obviously know they signed like 9 5-stars in this recruiting class. So something that Kirby is great about is turning around talent, and I don't see UGA having any problems at all.
I don't know. I think I have an issue with you saying that because as long as Nick Saban is breathing on this earth, I believe that Bama should be number 1. And they have the number 1 recruiting class again this year. I mean, they pulled in 5-star Caleb Downs, a safety out of Georgia that's disgusting. Caden Proctor, an amazing 6'7" offensive tackle. I feel that they're reloading without Bryce Young being on the roster this year. And Alabama should always be the favorites. It shouldn't be Georgia. And I'm sorry. I know they're back-to-back, but it's not going to be a three-peat. Alabama's coming, and the Crimson Tide does not hold back.
Camden, are the Crimson Tide coming?
Right, okay, he can say what he wants about Nick Saban. I'm never going to disrespect him. But, yes, Georgia should be the favorite. Alabama should not be, Jeff, because every team is reloading. Georgia's reloading, too. Bama has two new coordinators, offensive and defensive, and a new quarterback. So it's going to be tough to try to get that going, get that flow going. And, they have a really tough schedule this year. I don't know if you've seen who Alabama plays. They got some tough games this year on out-of-conference opponents.
Oh yeah, one of those are USF Bulls. Really tough out-of-conference matchup. But like you said, looking at the 24/7 rankings, Alabama clearly leading the way, 9 5-stars, followed by Georgia, of course, and then Texas, who I want to touch on. Texas has a 14th best odds to win the national championship, and I think they are so overrated. Once again, they have Quinn Ewers. They have Arch Manning, of course, the number 1 player in the 2023 class. Camden, is Texas back?
Arch Manning can't even remember his student ID. Like, let's be real.
You can't have 2 quarterbacks before the season even starts, right? Quinn Ewers transferred from Ohio State because he wasn't good enough, got the bag, left. Arch Manning, number 1 player. They got to figure out who's starting. I believe they're going to give Quinn the chance to start out, but I think it should be Arch, to be honest. That's my opinion. Texas is not back until they beat a good team. They have to travel to Alabama either week 2 or week 3, and no, they're not back. Sorry, Texas not back.
Now, do we think? Obviously, UCF is transitioning to the Big 12 this season. Texas and Oklahoma potentially their last year. They could stick around for another year if they don't agree to some kind of buyout. Is Texas? Kelly, starting with you. Is Texas the favorite in the Big 12 this year?
Honestly, no, I don't think so. I mean, really the only thing that's kind of holding some weight for them is that they finished 3rd in the recruiting rankings just recently. So they do have some fresh talent coming in, but this has been a story with Texas since 2009, which is the last time they won the Big 12, by the way. Texas is back because they get this great talent, but the problem was they don't know how to develop these players. So we've seen some star-studded players come into this program and do absolutely nothing. They don't go to the league. They barely make stats enough to even end up in storylines. So that's my thing. Like I was saying, I mean, Arch Manning, he's generational talent. I mean, nephew of two of the best quarterbacks of recent time. So I think we're really going to see what they do with him is a reflection of the program itself, because how are you going to let someone with the last name Manning flop? So.
No.
And I had to disagree also because I think Oklahoma will be a major factor. You know, old UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel, the Rock'em Sock'em man himself. Last season, they were number 25 in points scored against their opponents, you know, scoring 32 and 8 a game, which I think is okay for Big 12 standards, but you need to get better. And obviously, if they're moving to the SEC, it's going to be a whole lot of a different scene for them. So I can see Oklahoma doing some damage, also with their recent recruiting class.
Now, Camden, in our first season in the Big 12, what are your predictions? Now, it is quite the long shot. Plus, UCF is plus 20,000 odds to win the Natty. Now, I think that's out of way too far of a stretch. But do you think we contend in our first season in the Big 12?
Not even close, Riley. I'm sorry. I don't know how to put this nicely because I am obligated to speak nice words about the UCF football team. But I think that this team should focus on some other expectations. They should focus on winning the division, or I guess they don't have divisions in the Big 12, but the conference first. They should work on getting into the top 5 of that first because it's not going to be pretty. Let me let you know. I'm right with you, Jeff. Oklahoma, love it. Dylan Gabriel healthy. They don't have to play Georgia because they're moving to the SEC soon, so that game canceled. I love Oklahoma's schedule. UCF, not so much.
I have to say, I think UCF actually stands a chance, and that's because of the recruiting class also. I mean, they brought in some big defensive players, John Walker, Caven Call, Andrew Harris. I feel like there's some names back there that will be starting as true freshmen and can make a big difference in the Big 12 for UCF.
What is your record prediction?
Let's give it an 8-3.
8? Okay.
Whoa.
I honestly, I truly believe. I truly believe the Big 12 is not ready because UCF is coming with a different energy, with a different bravado. I feel like they're like, we are the new people in Big 12. Who cares about Cincinnati? Who cares about Houston?
Right.
We're coming and we're knocking down the door.
Is 8 and 4?
My only worry is JRP. Like I really hope that this summer and all this time he's had spring training and stuff is going to make a difference. Obviously, he's playing baseball right now, so he's a little busy. But I need him to be better this season if we're going to go anywhere. And if I think JRP plays like he did last year, I think we're going 6-6. So to be the realist, I'm sorry. I'm a Knights fan, and it pains me to be one, but 7-5 maybe.
7-5. Camden, what do you think?
Kellie, I think we might be brothers and sisters because I was going to say 7-5 at best, 5-7 at worst. So that is, I mean, they might be worse than 5-7. Yep, right around that 500 range. I think that will be okay. That is okay for this UCF team moving into a new conference.
I think that's a lot of people's expectations. You know, I've heard 5-7, 6-6, 7-5. You are the first person I've heard say 8-3, 8-4.
I'm riding hard for the hometown team. Come on now.
Always.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, you had our player with purpose this week, and in Women's History Month, we of course had to go with Ronda Rousey. So I want to toss it to Jeff to talk about greatness she's done.
So shout out to Ronda Rousey because not only she's an amazing mixed martial arts star, but she has really helped the mental health community, you know, kind of come back because she's dealt with it herself. Her father and grandfather have both, you know, committed suicide in the past, and she's made it known herself after losing a fight against home that she was dealing with suicidal depression, things of that nature. And I believe that Ronda Rousey is a true queen because she went back to California and she developed her own suicide prevention center and now is a mental health leader with Melissa Rivers over in Los Angeles, California. You know, she said after the Holly Holm fight in 2015, she was considering suicide from all the abuse online, from, you know, the lack of, I'm not the same Ronda Rousey I once was. And, you know, she struggled with her own mental health in the public eye, and I think it's really strong for her to give back to her community and tell everyone that it's okay to deal with mental health because it's a real thing.
No, and thank you for sharing that because, I mean, I think an athlete to that caliber just showing transparency with mental health, showing that it's okay to be honest with, you know, our own struggles because professional athletes deal with the same issues as a normal person does day to day. And I just really want to read this quote that I Saw that she said to TMC that it's not a weakness we should condemn. I've never shied away from talking about suicide or anything like that. It's really heavily affected my family. So I think just saying that for an athlete to say that, we've heard in the past few years other high caliber athletes talking about the same issues they're dealing with. Kellie or Camden, do either you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I was just going to say, especially her being a professional fighter, I think with a sport that's deemed violent, I think it's good to kind of bring up these subjects with mental health. I mean, it does affect so many people, and I feel like sometimes professional athletes think that it can affect them because their life may seem different in our eyes than it. So, I mean, I just think it's really special that she is providing this program to take care of everyone. Camden?
Yeah, I'll say that is pretty big because, ever since COVID time, that rate has increased with mental health issues, and I think that this is really important for Ronda Rousey to keep, and good on her for doing that.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Camden, thank you so much for joining us to talk some college football. We do have to toss to a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere because we have some NBA draft to discuss. We'll be right back.
HTF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where's that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Brother. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch. If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Back and joining us for her first appearance on Bets is Maddie Glass. Maddie, I know we're talking about some bad teams today, but with the NBA season winding down, who is your current favorite to take the NBA title?
I gotta go with the Boston Celtics. I know they made it to the finals last year, and they lost to the Warriors, but with the combination of Tatum and Brown and that bench, I think they are going to win it this year.
No, I think of the Celtics. Celtics definitely clear favorites. They're, like you said, they made it to the finals last year and added guys like Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, I think they're the clear favorite.
The win last night was pretty impressive over the Cavs. I know it's only one of 3 wins against them this season, but it was a defining win for Grant Wheeler's team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Celtics Bucks Eastern Conference Finals. That's just my prediction. But with most teams preparing for a deep playoff run, others are positioning themselves for a different prize. A 7'5" French alien that could change the course of basketball forever. I heard him say he wanted to call himself an alien, not a unicorn. But we all know Victor Wembanyama is going number 1 overall. Clear favorites, not even close. But Maddie, I want to start with you. What is the one team that you could really see him fitting the best with?
I want Wemby to go to a place where he can realize his full potential, and I think San Antonio is the answer. They are a blank slate. They have a ton of cap room and some intriguing young talent. I know they're on probably like 15-game losing streak, but that doesn't prove their odds. They have the organization to really bring out the best in Wemby, and not to mention a Hall of Fame coach.
No, and looking at the odds right now, we have the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Pistons, and the Spurs all tied for the best odds to land him at 14%. Kellie, do you agree that San Antonio is the best place for Wemby?
I mean, honestly, they need a guy like him. They need someone to make these plays, and just it's no secret that they're really bad right now.
Yeah.
They need someone to come and be a huge difference maker for this team. Kind of like how I feel like Paolo came to Orlando last year and kind of just freshened up the team. I feel like they gave him kind of just like a fresh feel to the team, and just someone like him being so incredibly talented, and like you said, he could change the course of basketball. So I think he could be a huge help to that team.
No, I agree. Before Jeff, I do agree. I really think the Spurs are the best fit for him. I think Keldon Johnson Devin Vassell, and Trey Jones. Trey Jones has been really improving, having a career year. I think a combination of those two talented wings and Wemby, the Spurs, they've had a horrible year. They just snapped a 16-game winning streak, but someone like that could really change the course.
And I'm liking what I'm hearing with San Antonio, but I like to see your Detroit Pistons go after him because, listen, they picked up James Wiseman from the Golden State Warriors. He's looking all right, but he's not the forever center there. If they can match up Wembanyama with Jaden Ivey, with Bojan Bogdanovic, Cade Cunningham, a lot of those talents like Isaiah Stewart, there's a lot of pieces there, and I think that Detroit could really become a contender over that span, especially with the guard representation y'all have. I think that's a talented roster.
All I'm gonna say is I hope the Pistons get the first pick. I don't think they're going to, since they just got it with Cade in 2021. But if they could somehow pull it off, I would be so happy. That guy is so good. But let's kind of go into our mock drafts. Obviously, we all have Wembanyama going 1. We all had Scoot Henderson, the guard, G League guard for G League Ignite, going number 2. But Maddie, I want to talk to you about the rest of your top 3. You had Brandon Miller at number 3, Amon Thompson at number 4, and Jarris Walker at number 5. Kind of explain your thoughts behind those 3.
I think Brandon Miller is the answer at number 3. He showcases this really amazing scoring potential. He's averaging 19 points on 42% shooting from 3 on over 7 attempts per game. He fits the modern NBA like a glove. He's that wing that everybody wants that can create their own shot and be good defensively. And then I think he's a little bit more of a safer pick than someone like Amon Thompson. Amon Thompson has this explosive athleticism, and combining that with his passing vision, the upside is undeniable. But there are real concerns with his shooting. He's only shooting 65% from the line and 25% from 3. He fits that new generation point guard where they have the height, the athleticism, and the passing. So I could see him being very successful. And then going into Jarris Walker at number 5 for me, he is just probably the best defensive prospect in the draft, excluding Wembanyama. He has those instincts and versatility that NBA teams really like. I think he'll be physically ready to defend by day 1 and probably play small ball 5, combo forward, can defend each forward position really well.
6'8", 240-pound frame. I have to agree with you, Maddie. He's going to be an absolute wrecker in the league. And we're going to move on to talking about Orlando Magic with their possible 2 top 10 picks.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking is the number 1 selection out of the top 2 picks?
If the Magic have number 5 overall, which I think they will, I think they could land that 5 spot, and then thanks to that Chicago Bulls trade back in 2020 for Nikola Vucevic, they're probably going to have 8 or 9 range. But I really like that Jarris Walker pick. I think Jarris Walker would really fit in well. The production for Houston hasn't really, looking at his numbers, might not be eye-opening, but just his frame, like you said, 6'8", 240, probably the best defender in this class, can guard 1 through 5. Now, we're all kind of Magic fans, a little bit. Kelly, what do you think? Do you think Jarris Walker is a pick at number 5 if they get it?
Yeah, I think that would be a great pick. And then I was looking for some other people as well. And Cason Wallace, I want to hear your thoughts on him, Jeff. What do you think? Because I was thinking maybe he could kind of fit in with the team we have going right now. But
yeah, but I'd rather go for a sharpshooter himself, like someone like a Grady Dick, the Kansas freshman. I feel like he's a safe player to get. The scouts are labeling him as safe so far. He's 6'8". He can get up and shoot, has an efficient shot, kind of like a Buddy Hield, smooth like butter. I love to see that. And he has opportunities of self-creation through some of these games where I'm like, this guy can self-create. He needs to be put next to Paulo, needs to be put next to Franz, needs to be put next to Wendell Carter. And I think he would mold that squad together because they're really missing a sharpshooter. And that's when they drafted Jalen Suggs, out of Gonzaga, he was a sharpshooter, but also a menace on the defensive end. And, he's kind of falling off the offensive perimeter, but defense, he's still there. I feel like they need to get a guy that replaced that role that they once envisioned for Jalen Suggs.
Now, Maddie, if the Magic do end up keeping both top 10 picks, what are two or a couple options that they could look for?
Well, Jeff, I actually disagree with you. I don't think Jarris Walker is the pick because we have the power forward, we have the defense that we need at that position. We need a star guard, and I think Nick Smith can
Yes.
fill that potential. I know he's had a tough year injury-wise at Arkansas, but he was projected to go top 5 before the season started. So I could see him filling that role, maybe even a potential Jamal Murray type scorer. And then I agree with Jeff, we need shooters desperately. And I think Jet Howard out of Michigan fits that mold perfectly. He is a movement shooter, can shoot, catch and shoot threes, and fits perfectly next to Paulo and Franz. Not to mention, Michigan players have worked out pretty well for us recently.
No, you're right. Mo and Franz out of Michigan. And Caleb Houston, of course.
I'm curious, where do you see Cam Whitmore out of Villanova going? Because that's a team, the Magic, I feel like they could use a Cam Whitmore.
See, I really agree with Maddie, with Nick Smith. I think guard is more of an essential need. If they go with Jarvis Walker, I think their next pick should be Nick Smith because, 6'5", with 6'9" wingspan, like Maddie said. He's been dealing with injuries all year, but when he's been healthy, back-to-back SEC Freshman of the Week, his shot creating is elite, which I think Magic really need. I don't think they need a forward like Cam Whitmore again. I think his game is really similar to Franz and to Paolo, score first, wing. I think Nick Smith would be perfect. Kelly, what do you think?
I agree with you guys 100%. But Jeff, I'm curious. They're both disagreeing with you. So why do you think he's your guy? Why do you want him when they're both so on Braden Miller?
They're disagreeing with me about, Grady Dick, and I think that Grady, he'd be better than Nick Smith just because he has that prototypical shot that you need the NBA to succeed. I feel like a lot of these guys that are now defending the perimeter have the wingspans to block shots, and Grady Dick knows how to get into open space and knock down a three. He kind of reminds me of like J.J. Redick, of a player that is a sharpshooter and is known for it, and everyone knows if you get up in his face, he's going to wet it in your face. So.
No, and one thing that I do want to touch on really quick, that a lot of the thing that a lot of these guys have in common, they're all freshmen, 18, 19 years old, as opposed to a 22-year-old senior. So I think the Magic are really, really revamping with a young nucleus. That's all the time we have for right now, but don't go anywhere because we have our Surefire Bets of the Week. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Kelly's favorite part of the show. Definitely not Jeff and I's favorite part of the show.
I'm doing good.
Looking at the records right now, Kelly is killing it. 5-1 in her 6 picks, and that includes some. She's not gotten 2 right certain weeks. I'm sitting at a very painful 2-5, and then Jeff is sitting at 4-3. It's right above 500. Kelly, we're going to start with you as a leader here. What is your Surefire Bet of the Week?
So I'm going to pull a Jeff. I'm going to go with our hometown team this week. I'm scared. UCF basketball. So this, we actually play them tonight, Temple, at 7 o'clock in Temple as well. But we right now are projected to win. So I think last time I looked, we had like a 56% chance of winning. So I'm going to roll with the Knights even though we're already projected to win. I'm going to take them to win because they've been scary to watch lately. And I'm going to take the over as well.
Scary is the right definition because it's so up and down. You don't know what you're getting with this team. And it's just like there's certain guys on certain nights that will put up 15, 20 points, and then the next night they'll be shooting 2 for 15. You're like, what just happened?
Right. So, I mean, UCF's been really back and forth lately. I feel like that's been a lot of teams since the tournament's so close and stuff. Not that that's anything UCF has to worry about. But I need them to finish the season strong, so I'm taking the Knights.
Now, we were just talking about the NBA draft, and the one bright spot has been Taylor Hendricks, who's been projected to be a late lottery pick.
Right.
I could see him going anywhere to 12 to 15 range, which
definitely.
Of course would be such a great look to have Taylor Hendricks rocking in the NBA.
My highlights were basically a Taylor Hendricks highlight, so.
No, he's been so good. I kind of like the pick. I do like the pick. Temple hasn't been that good this year, but neither have we. So it's always scary going with the hometown team. But I am going to go to the other coast for my Surefire Bet of the Week to hopefully get back on track, which is also scary. Scary team as of right now, which is LA Lakers, who is hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow night. The Lakers have been 3-1 since the All-Star break, but now without LeBron James for at least the next couple weeks. Anthony Davis, as always, is injured. But without both of them, the other night they did defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder behind 26 from Dennis Schroeder. So I'm going to go with the Lakers. Scary, but the Lakers desperately need this win. 1.5 games separates them and Minnesota from between 8 and 11 in the West right now. So the West is just wild. The Lakers really need this win. I think they're going to pick it up.
Reunion for D'Lo, huh? D'Angelo Russell.
He's
all
been
them
pretty.
boys.
He's been pretty good as well. I think he's going to be. This is going to be a little bit of a revenge game against.
Yeah, I honestly believe that Timberwolves are going to have something to say about the Lakers without LeBron there. I just don't see the Lakers holding it up, man.
Neither do I. I got the Timberwolves too.
Oh no. I think this is going to be a really bad week for Riley. I think he's going to drop to 2-6.
Yeah.
Jeff, what is your pick?
So I'm staying on the West Coast with you. We're doing the number 8 Arizona Wildcats at the number 4 UCLA Bruins. And you know, the last time they played, you'll see in the highlights on the screen, UCLA lost this game 52-58 at Arizona. And UCLA is still ranked above Arizona. And I don't believe it. I mean, I feel like Jamie Jacquez Jr. is playing wonderful for UCLA. He's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists a game. But the last time they played, Arizona held him to 12 points on 5 for 17 shooting and 1 for 6 3-point shooting. I think that's going to be another problem for UCLA now at home. I think the Wildcats will possibly take this out because Arizona forward Azuolas Tubelis, sorry, excuse my pronunciation, he's averaging 19.6, 9.1 rebounds, and 2 assists a game on 57.3% field goal shot percentage. UCLA held Tubelis at 14 points on 5 for 15 shot percentage last game, but I believe that he's going to be the big difference, and the defensive intensity of Arizona is going to overwhelm the UCLA Bruins.
I don't know. I think it's so hard to beat a team twice, especially in the span of a month and a half. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with UCLA, number 4 in the country right now.
I gotta go with Jeff.
I think they're overhyped.
I think the numbers earlier, and I think you're right.
Arizona
Numbers are better.
Arizona has a better offense, and defensive-wise, they have better metrics in just rebounds, blocking, stealing, things of that nature.
At home, you think the Wildcats are going to go into?
Oh, 100%. I think Arizona, they're cold. They like to go in there and upset the home crowd, and I think that they will do it again. And it's a huge matchup for Pac-12, championship odds, things of that nature.
What is Arizona's ceiling going into March Madness?
I think they're going to be like probably a 3 or 4 seed, and I could see them making a deep run. I could see a Sweet 16. Arizona is one of those historical franchises or historical programs that always make it deep into the play-in, but they don't really make it too far. I could see Sweet 16.
I feel like they're always one of my teams I put on the bracket when I get to like Sweet 16 or Elite 8. I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna get much further than this, but I definitely think they're gonna.
UCLA the opposite. You think they have the potential to get bounced out first round?
UCLA, no, second round.
Okay. Second round.
Not too hot.
Second round. Now they're probably going to be a 1 or 2 seed, but maybe they could be that team that gets upset in the second round by we don't know who the Cinderella team is going to be. FAU, maybe. We'll see. Calling it right now. UCLA is going to get bounced in the second round by FAU. That is all.
Okay.
That is all the time we have for this week's episode. For Maddie Glass, for Camden Mowery, for Kellie Campbell, for Jeff Laux, I am Riley Shepard, and we will see you all next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap.